Hello and welcome to Red Wolf Roundtable. I'm Jacob Cater, alongside my good friend and colleague, Mr. Caton Marsh. Caton, we've got a lot to talk about this week. Lots of big sports happening this week on Arkansas State's campus and off of it. Big conference opener for soccer, and then we'll look into the upcoming conference games. The conference has started.
We're starting.
In just about every sport. We have started or will be starting this week in conference.
That's an exciting time.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about a big win that the women's volleyball team had this weekend over in the other corner of the state. And some football, how the defense looks to be deflating, and how we are going to look forward with positive eyes at the upcoming conference game.
We'll try our best, that's for sure.
We'll try our best. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned here on Red Wolf Roundtable. We'll be right back.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
When you say experience counts, it's experience that counts for a lifetime.
Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it.
Welcome back here on Red Wolf Roundtable. We'll dive right into some soccer. Big conference opener against Louisiana. Louisiana. I don't know why I said Troy. Big conference opener against Louisiana this week. The Red Wolves tie it 1-1 in a draw. We do have Damaris Deshane here. Had a pretty good game.
Well, yeah, so the thing that we talked about before really getting into conference play was how good this offense was. They were scoring goals left and right the first few non-conference games. And when you get into the conference, one of the questions going into it was the defense. They did allow a lot of goals going into conference play, and that was one of the glaring spots that needed to be fixed. And that showed up big time in our second conference game against Louisiana. Louisiana was hyper-aggressive all game. And Deshane played amazing. 7 saves and 1 goal allowed. I will say that 1 goal allowed was our own goal. It was ourself that scored the goal for Louisiana. Unfortunately, I think they were trying to make a defensive play, and unfortunately, it rolled off the foot in an awkward way. So the way they played against Louisiana, I will say nothing but positives. I would have liked to see more offense with how good the offense has played lately, and especially this year. It was really slow. Louisiana attacked a lot, but ultimately I think they responded in a very good way in this game.
Yeah, we've seen the defense this whole season. The defense has been stellar. You look at some of these players we have, and then some of the players we have on offense as well. Defense for A-State's been stellar. We looked at the second game that we had this week against Louisiana Monroe, lost that one 1-0. Like you said, kind of like the game against Louisiana, hardly any offense for either team.
This was still a good game. I would say it was a defensive battle, especially in that first half. There was hardly anything going on. Not a lot of shots on goal. Not a lot of shots in general. And once again, the defense stepped up. Unfortunately, they did get their 1 goal. I think we were a little over-aggressive when they pursued, and it ultimately costed us. But this Louisiana Monroe team was, I believe, 6-2-1 before going into this. And they're a really good team. I can't say anything about it, but I think going into conference, especially the thick of it, this is a whole different team than last year. We're seeing the defense pick up, and hopefully the offense does the same.
Yeah.
But a lot of positives going into conference play.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, now we'll dive right into kind of the elephant in the room here. The Red Wolves went down to Georgia, and it didn't go well for them. Kennesaw, Georgia, we lost to Kennesaw State 28-21. Defense allowed 21 points in the first quarter.
They allowed about 500 total yards against Kennesaw State. I try to be as nice as possible when we talk about this team because I know how much work that they put into this. But 500 yards against Kennesaw State is unacceptable. This QB, Amari Odom, wasn't the best QB in the world, and coming into the game and how he played, you would have thought he was the best QB in the world.
Absolutely. And like if we look at some of his stats from the game, he was 25 for 34. He had 308 yards passing, 101 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. And the amount of yards that he had was a program record for a single game.
So that's one thing that should have never happened. Allowing a school program record, Arkansas State, we really need to pick it up. And letting the QB not only do what he did passing, but lead the team in rushing. This man was unstoppable. The defense didn't look good at all. And we're going to be honest here, they should have scored 42. They fumbled on the goal line 2 yards away. And then Odom overthrew a wide open crossing route. I can't even express how wide open this was. 4th and 5, so they turned the ball over. This team also ended up turning the ball over 2 more times through fumbles. So we did see luckily we saw the defense pick up. It was just too late. But I guess we can go into the offense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think our offense, it struggled to take off. It struggled to take off in the first, we didn't score in the first quarter. It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. And, we scored a touchdown per quarter after that. But still, I mean,
there's not a lot to write home about.
We were making Kennesaw State look like a really good football team.
The run game wasn't very, very effective. I will say, unfortunately, my GOAT, Jalen Rayner, had some overthrows and underthrows that were kind of errant.
And he was 25 for 41 with he did have 226 passing yards with 2 touchdowns to his name. But one that I want to really highlight on the offense was Hunter Summers. Hunter Summers did great things. We see it right here. 8 receptions, 114 yards, 1 touchdown, and averaged 14.2 yards per reception. Hunter Summers had a phenomenal game, and it seems like he might have been the only one that had a super phenomenal game on offense for the Red Wolves.
You want to talk about stepping up, you talk about Hunter Summers.
Oh, yes.
This man this year has been phenomenal. When it came to SEMO, he can stretch the field. When it was Arkansas, he had a touchdown called back. And then Iowa State did the same thing. He was stretching the field. He was making plays. And then he shows up big. Kennesaw State, the catches he was making was spectacular. This guy is so good. And we pair him with Chauncey Cobb on the inside. And then we pair him with Rucker. Hopefully he steps up, and I think he will soon. But this receiving core, I can't get enough of. This receiving core is amazing. I love it. And to have a guy like Hunter Summers and the way he played this week, going into conference with some of these teams that we've seen, they haven't been good in the Sun Belt. We'll just leave it there, and we'll get into it more later on. But he's going to be a huge weapon for us going into conference play, and I'm very excited to see what he does.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's definitely stepped up, especially in the absence of Jaquez Cross. Fortunately, lost him at the beginning of the season. But we talked about this on one of the first shows, how the offense is going to have a step up and fill his shoes, fill some of these holes that it's had. And I think we've done a really good job of doing that so far. We just need to capitalize on some miscues that our offense has been making, like things that we shouldn't really be doing. Like I don't know if you saw it during the Iowa State game, but the snaps in that game just did not. They were high, they were low, they were outside. Lots of things going on here. Just hopefully we can pull it together because Sunbelt play does start this week. Well, we'll take it into break, and we'll be right back to talk about some volleyball, who had a big week this week, and we'll have a special guest on the show. Stay tuned.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable. Talking about this weekend, we played a phenomenal set of volleyball in Fayetteville, on the hill at the University of Arkansas. And here to talk about that is somebody who was there at the games, Miss Julia McKee.
Yes, hi, I'm Julia McKee. I am a student creative videographer with the athletic department, and I'm the videographer for volleyball. We had a phenomenal time in Fayetteville. It was so much fun. The atmosphere there was insane. We played at Barnhill Arena. It was truly, truly amazing. We played 3 games. We played SIU, North Dakota State, and then finally Arkansas at 2 on Saturday, and it was truly just an amazing trip.
Absolutely, and it looked a lot of fun. I saw some of your Instagram stories. It looked like y'all were having a blast. But this team
Is phenomenal.
is great. That's what we're going to talk about, how great this volleyball team is. They defeat North Dakota State 3-1 in the first game. They defeat Southern Illinois 3-1 in the second game. And then they defeat the University of Arkansas. You told me this earlier, the first A-State Red Wolf team of any sport to go to the Hill and win.
Across any programs, A-State team went to Fayetteville and beat them, and so it was a huge win. Like I said, the atmosphere was insane. In my video at the very end of the game when we won, Coach even went into the locker room and said that win was for all the alumni that never got to play them. There's some of them here. We're so proud of y'all. It was truly just a great experience, and I was so happy to be there. But
Yeah.
The piggies got cooked.
The piggies got cooked. Hallelujah.
Eating some bacon.
Eating some bacon. We'll go into like some of these players because we've highlighted this next girl several times already, and this is what, the 4th show? Daedriana Kale. She gets Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Week for her performance against Arkansas. 39 kills, 22 blocks, and a .429 hitting percentage. She has done phenomenal for these Red Wolves this year.
She is insane. I want to know what they do outside of school because first Daedric with baseball and then now her with volleyball, it's insane.
Yeah. And then we've got Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Week as well on the same team, Miss Haley Gluns. She had 22 blocks and a career-high 12 in one game versus Arkansas.
This team, I'm all around. We saw Devin Lewis as one of a great facilitator. We talk about Caitlin Whitlock all the time. I think she actually this season set her kill record in a single game against Arkansas with I think 21 in 4 sets. Previously, it was against Mizzou in 5 sets where she had 19. So to do what she did in one less set and set the season record for her, quite insane. So there is a lot of good facilitators. We got Whitlock, we got Kale, we have Lewis, and then even
Gluns, yeah. Gluns has been phenomenal defensively.
All around, this team is, I can't really put it into words. I would say perfect, but nothing's perfect. So.
But the thing is, who's surprised? And it's not me because they were regular season champs last year.
Exactly, defending Sun Belt champions.
And so coming into this season, especially being the student creative that gets to work hand in hand with them, I knew that they were going to do great things this season. And we're starting conference play this week, which we'll talk about that. But Non-conference has gone phenomenal, and I'm not surprised. I can't wait to see what they do. Again, it was a great weekend, on and off the court, all around great girls. They played amazing. We even, before the SIU game, Libby G. Weiler used to play with a girl on SIU, and she went around with little blue bows, and we put blue bows on everybody's shoes, and they even tied one on my camera for one of the girls on SIU had lost her father to cancer. And so all around great girls. I love them, and it's such a privilege to work with them.
We do love this team. The women's volleyball team improves to 7-4 after a 3-game sweep in Fayetteville.
Full sweep.
Again, insane.
We had questions if Arkansas was really even the owner of this invitational. It said Arkansas Invitational, but surely that wasn't the case. I think our biggest, toughest opponent was NDSU.
Yeah, North Dakota State was pretty stout in that game. They did have a lot of stiff competition.
We got our revenge.
But I want to point this out. 4 losses that we have, and I've talked about this before, all the Power 4 schools. Against the SEC, we are 2-1 because it just means more. So I think we're doing pretty phenomenal. I cannot wait for this next week when we start conference play because I think Arkansas State has a good chance to run the floor.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen a lot in this non-conference where we played Ole Miss when we went toe-to-toe with them. We went toe-to-toe with Georgia Tech. UCF got the best of us, but they still played well. And then Mizzou, we upset them and then went toe-to-toe with them. So going into the Sun Belt Conference, obviously this is a whole different universe from football, so the rankings don't mean anything when we talk about SEC. But these schools are really good at volleyball regardless.
Yes.
And to see how well they played going into conference, sky's the limit for them. They're really good. I can't wait to see.
Absolutely. We'll be right back here on Red Wolf Roundtable. Thank you for coming, Ms. Julia.
Thank you, guys.
We're glad to have you. We'll be right back as we will preview some of the games coming up this week.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable. We're going to switch gears and kind of go into some preview stuff here. We'll start with volleyball since we were just talking about it. So, of course, coming off a big weekend in Fayetteville, this Friday and Saturday we begin Sun Belt play at Georgia State.
Yeah, this team's pretty good. We'll say that. They're 9-2 this season, and they really haven't had close competition when they end up winning. The stats are pretty even when all things are considered when you compare them, but ultimately Arkansas State has played better competition compared to Georgia State. So although their record's better and maybe the stats lean towards Georgia State, are we sure that Georgia State is really the team that they think they are?
Exactly, and we did talk about, I mentioned it in the last segment, all 4 of our losses are to Power 4 schools.
Yeah,
and you look at who Georgia State's played, and
it's not
the same level of competition. Our current record is 7-4, 0-0 in conference, of course, about to start that. And then we've only been swept once, Central Florida.
That team was, and let's put a pin in this, that team was really good. That was one of the best volleyball teams I've ever seen. But, we'll get into it, the conference play, that this team's amazing. We have a lot of offensive facilitators, and the defense has looked really good. One of the things that I've kind of wanted to note going into this game is hopefully the receiving end of when the opponent serves, we play a little bit better, because that tends to be our struggle, is the start of the receiving end for offense on the other team. But other than that, I think with Libby G. Weiler back and how she's playing and how some of the other girls are playing, I don't see how we couldn't beat this team with ease. I want to stress that I don't want to be too biased, but this team's really good.
Exactly. And, we've got the defensive player of the week, Haley Gluns. We've got the offensive player of the week, Deidreana Kale. And then we've got Kaylin Whitlock. So 3 big players there for the Lady Red Wolves, as we will look forward to conference play and what that holds for this season. I mean,
repeat.
We could.
But
I'm not. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I'm not going to jinx anything right here.
All the way this time.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I can see that. A little bit of soccer preview. We've started Sunbelt play in soccer this week. Game at Marshall. Marshall looks like a pretty stout team.
Yeah, this team's really good. We'll say that. They have more goals than us. I think they might have played more games than us, so we'll say that. But I don't know how much there is to say, really. This team is really good. We haven't really seen an opponent of this magnitude, I would say, especially in conference. We had some tough times in the conference openers, at least from what we've seen offensively. Hopefully that steps up. But
I will say offense has been a little slow these past few games, starting Sunbelt play. Our defense, I think, has definitely been the highlight of this team.
Yeah, 100%. They have stepped up huge. And we saw it the Louisiana game. Unfortunately, that was a tie. The ULM game, they stepped up huge. Unfortunately, we took a loss on that one, but there's a lot of positives on both ends. We just kind of hope to see the offense ramp up a little bit more going forward.
Yeah. And it's still fairly early in Sunbelt play. So I think going forward, our offense is going to make improvements. Of course, we've seen sparks of greatness already this season with the UAPB game. And I don't see any reason why this team cannot be competitive in the Sunbelt this year.
Absolutely. They were picked to finish second to last, and that has completely flipped. I think it's shown in non-conference and the conference games that we've seen so far. Unfortunately, we haven't played the toughest opponents when it comes to conference play, but comparing it to years past, this team is completely different, especially offensively, and defense is trending in the right direction as well. So, yeah, I think this team has a chance to compete really well in the Sunbelt. That's for sure.
All right, we'll be right back as we will preview the upcoming conference opener in football. Stay tuned here on the Red Wolf Roundtable.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Welcome back as we are ready to start Sunbelt Conference play in football. A-State goes to Louisiana Monroe this week, and I'm a little interested to see how this game is going to go. We see how we stack up here. The passing yards, obviously, a lot better than theirs, but the rushing yards is what I'm concerned about because so far, our defense has yet to stop the run, especially if it's a running quarterback.
Yeah, I would say the stats might be misleading going into this. We saw it last week with Kennesaw State. Their passing numbers were quite awful going into the game, and then they come out and throw close to 70%, if not 70%, set a school record for passing, and allow the QB to lead the team in rushing. So we have to take the statistics at face value. Hopefully they give us a better understanding of what this team is like, but we've only played 3 games, so there's only so much to talk about. And maybe ULM is kind of like the Arkansas State soccer this year. Maybe we're throwing them under the bus too much, as in years past. They've been terrible, and maybe
they
haven't been the most highly funded school. So obviously, when it comes to player prospects, maybe they don't have the best. One of their best players left for the SEC this year. We saw it with Ahmad Hardy. That guy was good, but yeah. So this team, we can only say so much, because the defense has not stepped up in the slightest.
Right, and ULM this past week had a big win over Texas El Paso.
Which I don't think they were picked to win that game.
No,
either.
I don't believe they were. And that's probably the biggest win that ULM's had in quite a while, because they have not been, like you said, the greatest in the Sun Belt in probably 2 or 3 years. And so, it's going to take a big step from our defense, especially since we're playing in Monroe, to go in there and be able to put a stop to an offense that is coming off a really good game.
That's one thing to note, is that the away games that we've had this year, so Arkansas and, I'm blanking, we just played them, Kennesaw State, we haven't played well on the road. And then when it comes to home games, they've stepped up big. SEMO and Iowa State, they've looked so much better at home. So maybe that's one of the questions that we should ask going into this game. Is this team, can they step up on away games? This is ULM we're talking about, ULM. This should be a no-sweat game, but what we saw last week, who knows what's going to happen. This team is rushing for 200 yards a game, and that is our biggest downfall, is the run game. Can we contain the quarterback is another thing. We saw it with Taylor Green. Rocco Beck didn't do so much, and then Mario Odom ran all over us. If we can hopefully contain that quarterback, maybe that'll make the passing defense a lot better. But rushing game, you got to stop it. They didn't look very good against SEMO. They didn't look good against Iowa State. They didn't look good against Arkansas. So is it a trend? Hopefully not. Let's hope they turn it around.
And one thing I'd like to see us do on both sides of the ball, please, play a full game of football. Please. I don't really think we have done that yet this year. The Iowa State game, I think, is the most complete game that we've played all year on both sides of the ball, because our defense was doing stuff, it was awake, it was living, and our offense was cooking at some points as well. But I don't think it was as consistent as it should have been in that game. And it could have been because we were playing number 14 Iowa State. But also, if you look back at the Arkansas game or even the SEMO game, I think in the SEMO game, we played about 2.5 quarters of really good defense.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
And the Arkansas game, I'm not even sure if our defense showed up. And so, that is where we struggle. That's where we struggle the most. And if we're going to want to be competitive in the Sun Belt, even if we're just playing ULM, because we have Texas State next week, the week after.
That team's really
And
good.
that's a good team. So if we want to be competitive in the Sun Belt, our defense is going to have to step up.
Perfectly said. I think I love to say it every week that these guys work really hard. So there is no way I'm bashing these people. They're really good players. Hopefully they end up stepping up when it comes conference time, which is this week. But I kind of want to go into the offense. The offense has taken a step back since week 1. Obviously they played SEMO, and they still looked good, but progressively it's kind of stepped back each week. And hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we can fix the overthrows and underthrows in the short game. But I will say Rayner has looked really good in the deep game. We saw it with Hunter Summers this week. So at least we have that going for us.
And I will say, I think Kennesaw State this past week did a very good job at keeping him from running.
Absolutely.
Because he only had 5 yards rushing this past week, which is not Jalen Rayner.
No.
And so I think I will give Kennesaw State some credit here in this past week's game. They did a very good job at containing him.
But
So-
we do have playmakers on both sides of the ball.
That's very true.
We're not going to count that out. We need to come together and complete it. Maybe it's more of a, hopefully it's not a superstar here and superstar there, and then we can't mesh together well. But we saw the offense. The offense has looked amazing. Cobb has looked really good. Summers has looked really good. Fortenberry has stepped up. Hopefully we see more of Kenyon Clay and Devin Spencer, and they take a leap forward, which I think they will. I think Rucker will get the ball more. That's one of the players that we haven't really seen and we haven't really talked about this year. But ultimately, I think he'll pick it up, especially once conference play comes around. And then on the defense, you have Javante Mackey, you have Aaron Alexander, you have Nigel Nelson, you have Trenton Allen-Yao. All these guys are really good, and I didn't even mention some of the defensive line or the safety group, which they're really good too. I just think they need to mesh together. The communication needs to be better, because one of the touchdowns that we allowed against Kennesaw State, I believe, was a miscommunication on the first drive that resulted in a 60-yard touchdown. So I think if the communication and the defense can just mesh more together, I think we can see them step up. And the same thing offensively. I think once we communicate more, it'll mesh together well. And I think this team can still be really good. I still think they can get the bowl game under their belt. But ultimately, we need to step up. And in no way are we bashing them. We love
No.
this group.
We have a great team, and I just think, as all great teams do, they progress throughout the season. And I think that's exactly what we're going to do. The Red Wolves aren't going to just lay down and give up. So.
It's ULM week, hopefully.
It's ULM week, yeah.
Hopefully this is a bounce back.
This is a bounce back. This is what we need. Thank you for watching Red Wolf Roundtable this week. We are so glad that you tuned in. Special thanks to our special guest, Miss Julia McKee, for joining us today to talk about some volleyball. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, and God bless.